I'm Steve Pulaski, and my next guest is a bright young actress who has done a little bit of everything, from family movies like Ramona and Beezus and the Disney show Ant Farm to darker projects like VFW and American Horror Stories. In her new movie, Edge of Everything, she plays a 14-year-old girl dealing with the loss of her mother and the loss of innocence when she starts dabbling into drugs and alcohol. The film will be released on video on demand this Friday and on DVD next week. She is Sierra McCormick. Sierra, how are you?
Hi, Steve. I'm about as good as can be at 6:30 in the morning, California time.
It is about 8:30 Iowa time over here, so we both have early starts today.
Yeah, I'm not usually up this early, but anything for you, Steve.
I appreciate it, Sarah. I appreciate you making the time. I had the privilege of seeing Edge of Everything this week. Loved your performance in it. In your words, what is the movie all about?
I think the movie, to me, is about navigating, this particular precarious moment in your life. So Abby, who I play, is not only navigating that sort of moment between being 14, turning 15, exiting middle school, entering high school, wanting so badly to not be perceived as a child, yet still also being a child and mourning childhood in a way, and also dealing with the loss of her mother and navigating her new relationship with her father, who she hasn't really been close to in years, and his new girlfriend, new friends at school that sort of get her into, some activities she might be a little too young for. Just navigating all of those trying moments of youth is what the film is about.
In the movie, your character Abby is seen at some very raw and personal moments with her friends particularly. Walk me through what it was like shooting those scenes. There's a rawness and a real kind of reality to those scenes. What was that shooting environment like, Sierra?
All of the credit should be given to the filmmakers, Pablo and Sofia, because they really fostered an environment where we were able to create work like that felt real and very raw and also very free, in my opinion, because they gave us the golden thing you can give actors, and they scheduled rehearsal time into the schedule. And so before we ever set foot on set to start shooting something, we did all these really fun exercises as a group. All the characters who are all the friends in the group, we all sat around and did all these fun sort of exercises like talk about your childhood bedroom, or pretend you're at a sleepover and this happens and you're playing a game, or walk around the woods and just play and don't talk to each other and just remember how it felt to just, play and not be talking. And so I think because we had all this groundwork laid prior to ever setting foot in front of the camera, by the time the camera was rolling, we were able to feel very free and loose and able to extrapolate on what they'd already written, because we were all very aware of who our characters were and how they function in the ecosystem of the movie and where we were supposed to be going. So I give full credit to the filmmakers for creating that rawness with a lot of the group scenes with the girls in the movie.
That movie, Edge of Everything, comes to video on demand Friday, June 7th, and it's on DVD next week. She is Sierra McCormick. A few more questions with you, Sierra, while I have you. What is your favorite coming-of-age movie?
Oh, great question. I haven't been asked that this whole press tour kind of thing. One that's my favorite and resonates deeply with me is this movie Ghost World from 2001 with Thora Birch and Scarlett Johansson and Steve Buscemi. I feel like that movie really captures that post-high school. It's not exactly a high school coming-of-age movie. It's kind of about that post-high school directionless you feel, where you're not quite a real adult, but you're no longer a kid in high school with all this regimented schedule and all these sort of high school distractions, I would say. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And this other movie called Welcome to the Dollhouse, the Todd Solondz movie, I really love that one too. It kind of captures the hellaciousness of adolescence, I feel. So those are two of my favorites.
Two elite choices right there, Sierra. One of your first TV appearances was on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? How did that happen, and what was that experience like?
Oh, wow, deep cut. So that was my first, I would say, big job ever. And it was crazy. It was a huge casting process. It was a month-long process, and it was a nationwide thing. So what I remember most about that was just the long, arduous audition process. I had to go in probably 10, 15 times. Before I was finally selected at the end. And at the end, when they've narrowed it down to the last 25 kids they're considering, they take all of them and they fly them out to LA and they put them up at the Orlando Hotel in West Hollywood, right by CBS. And they kind of do this intensive 3-day sort of thing, this like last part of the process where they put you in groups and they have you do improv and they quiz you on presidents and they have you do all these different activities and they kind of are sending kids home each day. And then finally on the third day, they narrow it down to 5 kids. And I was one of them. I had the great privilege, of being one of them. And yeah, it was over the summer. So technically I wasn't in 5th grade. I was 4th grade going into 5th grade. So sometimes the 5th grade questions would be a little scary for all of us. But yeah, I have nothing but fond memories about it. It was super, super fun. It was a lot of time on camera. It was an awesome time. It was a great summer.
There have been a lot of rumblings about a potential revival of the show Supernatural. You played a very dynamic character in a few episodes of that show. If they were to approach you, would you be interested in going back into that world?
Oh, absolutely. I have nothing but wonderful, fuzzy, warm feelings about my time on Supernatural. That was my first, scripted acting job, I would say. I'd done 5th grader. I'd done a little bit of other work, but that was the first time I was really playing a character and doing what I would call, dramatic acting. And the whole set and the production and the actors and the director and literally everybody made that the most wonderful first experience I could have asked for. And it was honestly my dream as a kid to play in something like that and do horror and be possessed and stuff. So I just had a ball. It was so much fun. So they'd have to explain me aging up quite a bit in the last, 16 years. But I would go back in a heartbeat. It was so much fun.
I think you already answered kind of my next question, but there was no maybe fear of walking into kind of that darker setting or anything? You were all gung-ho ready for horror at a young age?
Yeah, I loved horror movies when I was a kid. My parents were strict about where I went and what I did, so not very much like the dad in our movie Edge of Everything, but they let me watch whatever I wanted. So I was a big horror buff by the time I was that age doing Supernatural. So honestly, when I would, be a kid and, being in the industry, people would ask you what kind of roles do you want to do? I always answered that I wanted to be in horror and I wanted to be the monster. I wanted to be the scary thing. And my very first acting job, I kind of got to live that. So wonderful, wonderful experience.
She is Sierra McCormick, again, an actress you need to watch, and you need to see her new movie, Edge of Everything. Again, it's out tomorrow on video on demand. I want to give you the final word, Sierra, to talk about Edge of Everything or where people can find you on social media. The floor is yours.
Okay, awesome. So Edge of Everything will be available for VOD, rental, or purchase on iTunes and Amazon this Friday, but it will also be available for purchase on DVD on Tuesday, June 11th through the same outlets, as well as some other large sort of online retailers. So for all my physical media people out there like myself, you can actually purchase it on DVD starting Tuesday, June 11th. And my social media, I only have Instagram, and so my social media handle is just my name, @Sierra McCormick.
I appreciate your time today, Sierra. I wish you nothing but continued success. Congratulations on all you've accomplished.
Thank you so much, Steve.